Restoring Men and History, Building Better, Stronger Men for Better Lives. Now, we're going to look at a film today, and this is a magnificent film for men and women, and especially men, so you can see a concrete example of a man on screen. Now, you need to see it in real life and in films, and you need to read it in books, but today we're focused on a film. Some men won't get to see real men. Some men have grown up without a father there, or an uninvolved father, or a bad father. Some men don't have great friends that they can model. You need somebody to model. You need a concrete example. Ayn Rand talked about it as well in her books. So most modern films and books push you to where? Where do they push you? They have an agenda and they're pushing you somewhere. And you don't need that going into your mind and soul. Remember this, men, what you put into your mind over and over and over repeatedly has an impact. It's the reinforcement of something. You can reinforce virtues or you can reinforce vices. You need to see the order of men and women, the natural order, the natural roles of men and women. What you put in your mind counts this whole year and next year. You can choose as a man what you watch and what you read and what you put into your mind. Again, you need to be reinforcing what a man looks like, what a woman looks like if you're a woman. Women need examples too, by the way. If you're a woman out there and you're watching, you need concrete examples of what a woman looks like. What's the role of a woman? How should a woman interact with men? How should men interact with men? Everybody needs to know that. Classics are usually more in line with the natural order because today's films have so much agenda in them, right? They're pushing you. So where can you men see excellent concrete examples? You can look at the old films, classic films, especially John Wayne films and Howard Hawks films, because Howard Hawks got men and women and John Wayne got men and women. So when they worked together, you came out with magnificent pieces for men and women to model. And the world is a little crazy right now. There's people that are promoting foolishness, complete foolishness. So to return to these films is in most cases better than going to the theater today. Watch what you see in today's theaters. There's not much to go to. If you think it's important to build better, stronger men, please subscribe. We would appreciate it. And you can watch this film. It's called Rio Bravo with John Wayne in the lead. And you can watch this film over and over. John T. Chance, played by the great icon John Wayne, one of the greatest film stars of all time, is the right kind of man, is the man you want to model. He has courage. He has the virtues. And this nation would be better off if we had more men like John T. Chance. Families would be better off if we had more men like John T. Chance. You women would be better off if we had more men like John T. Chance to treat you the way he would treat you. Government would be better. If you had a good father, you still need reinforcement. What you're putting in your mind counts. Many promote the feminization of the world and men, so you need to see examples of men. When I say men, men of virtue, of course, and who share your values on screen. The people with agendas don't want you to see what a man looks like, right? Restoring Men does not want to confuse you. We want to give you an example of men of virtue. Men are being attacked for being men, so you do need to see these concrete examples, and it's important to see it over and over and over. They feed you, the people that promote that, over and over and over, slightly trying to move you to men with character, like John T. Chance, is a guy you should want. You'd be lucky to have a friend or a father like John T. Chance. I suggest you find friends like John T. Chance. He would make you a better, stronger man, or at least try to make you a better, stronger man. And you need to be around men like John T. Chance. If we had more men like John T. Chance, we wouldn't be seeing all this foolishness now. It would have been stopped. People with the agendas want weak men. It's easier to control the world if you have weak men. Once you confuse and eliminate strong men, people that seek power have better opportunities to increase their power. So let's look into it. Let's take a look at the magnificent film Rio Bravo. And the great John Wayne is John T. Chance. Howard Hawks knew how to make films for manly men. So let's open with the beginning and see what we can learn, and you can learn as men from this film. And you can watch it, like I said, over and over and over. We're not gonna. The film is good. I know the story, and I can watch it over and over. So starts out with the story: a man kills someone in a saloon. The man had no gun; he was unarmed. However, he's not even concerned about it. Why is he not concerned? He's not concerned about shooting an unarmed man because he sees himself as above the law. He's the brother of a very powerful cattle rancher. And this is a good story for today because here you have justice. What's justice going to be in America? Will bad guys get arrested for their crimes? Will they get arrested for, say, stealing, looting, killing, damaging property? Well, if you had a man like John T. Chance, who was the police chief or sheriff, certainly they would be arrested, right? I guess you'd have the city council and the mayor to look to. However, this man would arrest them anyway and then I guess be fired. But let's move on to the story. You need justice in a society. So not just for his courage, but justice. We're talking about John T. Chance. Great character. So anyway, this little brother of the big cattle rancher is arrested. And remember, laws only work with men of virtue. You got to have the law and you've got to have men of virtue. They have to go together. Men of virtue protect the laws protect men of virtue. They both have to be there. A nation of laws and of men of virtue, right? A nation of laws and men of morals. You need both. So you got the sheriff of the town, played by the iconic, maybe one of the greatest actors of all time, John Wayne. You got Bogart and Cary Grant up there too. You can watch their films. Remember to watch good classic films with men of virtue. You can go into Bogart films too. The kind of men you can look up to, learn from, that reinforce your values and virtues. Maybe we'll do something on John Wayne, because in so many of his roles, you can learn a lot from how he treats other men, how he treats women, and how he operates. And you can see better examples of men and how men behave and how women behave in those Howard Hawks films, in those John Wayne films. But today we're going to look at one. So the sheriff, John T. Chance, does his job. He arrests Joe Burdett. This is also where we meet his friend and ex-deputy Dude, played by the great and iconic Dean Martin. Mr. Cool, right? Dean Martin's cool. Rat Pack. So Dude helps him arrest the guy because there's trouble in the saloon. You can watch it for yourself. We're not going to go through that. And at the beginning, this is the state of Dude. Men are throwing a coin, so he has to humiliate himself and pick it up. He's become the joke of the town, a drunk for 2 years. Anyway, he helps Chance arrest Joe Burdett. And it's interesting here because John Wayne is named John T. Chance, right? And he gives Dude, a man, a chance for a second opportunity in life. Dude has been a drunk. He gives him a chance again. He makes Dude his deputy again. So right at the beginning of the film, you see John T. Chance giving a chance to a man, giving him a purpose. And we talk about this a lot here, right? Men need a purpose. You men need a purpose. It helps you with anxiousness, loneliness, depression, all of those qualities that are apparent in the world today. You are being attacked as men. John T. Chance is giving his friend and ex-deputy another chance, a chance to be a man again, a chance to have purpose again and not just drink out of a bottle. Now that could apply to anything. If you spend your time, men, in the wrong way in too many hours instead of being on purpose, it might create more anxiousness. Dude takes the job, even though he knows there's going to be trouble. He takes the opportunity. Now, here's the other point. Chance offers him the opportunity. Dude takes the opportunity. So when you get an opportunity, men, remember, you got to take it. You've got to take the chance to come back. All of us may slip and fall at some point in life. Dude fell down. Chance is giving him a hand up, helping him get back on his feet, helping him get back to a mission purpose. Men need purpose. And that guy, Burdett, he's a big cattle rancher. He has hired guns. They know that. But dude's willing to take the risk. So again, men have to take risk. Dude's willing to take this risk, to risk his life. So he's giving him a chance to come back. Have you done that? Have you helped one of your friends come back? And dude's been a drunk for 2 straight years now. Every saloon knows him. They know him as the town drunk. We go through the story. We're not going to give you the whole story. We're just giving you bits and parts about the men. So dude's trying to get off the liquor. John T. Chance and dude are in the jail, and John Wayne notices. So again, John Wayne is observant. He's not just into himself, John Chance. He notices that dude is having a problem that particular moment. He's struggling with not drinking. He sees it, and as a leader, as a man, as a friend, he says, let's go take a walk around the town. It's not for himself. It's for his buddy dude to get his mind off drinking to purpose, right? Action. So if you're struggling with depression, anxiety, or something, take an action, take initiative. That will help you. So he gets dude walking on the street, and it seems to have the good effect. It takes it off dude's mind for the moment. Gives him something to do. Right now he's on the street. He's got to look for people killing him. He's got to look for people that may shoot at him. You got to pay attention to that. You can't be thinking about drinking. You got to pay attention to the street. Because Burdett's men are in town. So he also learns this. Dude says, you didn't need to take a walk. He knows that John T. Chance is doing it for him. So what does that tell him? What does that tell a man? When your friend cares about you, that means something. And it may make you try harder because he now knows that Chance is putting energy into his friend. And he knows that Chance cares about him. And just having one person, if you can do that for a friend, or somebody does it for you, just having one person care about you in life may make you know that life is worth living. That you have a chance and that somebody cares about you. And sometimes a man just needs to know that a friend cares about you. This is a big world. A lot of people don't care about you. One man can have an impact. One man can have a difference. You can have a difference in somebody's life today, tomorrow, by just letting them know you care. That's a real friend. That's a real leader. You care about your men. How many leaders today are thinking about their men? How many leaders are thinking about the country, the republic? Men like John T. Chance would think about the republic, the country, the Constitution. That's great leadership, to be thinking of who you serve. Chance has other friends in the story too, so it kind of makes the example that he's a good friend to people, right? Because there's another rancher, Pat, who comes through town. He's been coming through town for 2 years. And he offers Chance help because he knows Burdett is powerful and has many guns. But watch. Chance says to his friend, he doesn't want to put his friend in danger. He cares about his friends. He doesn't think Pat has the skills to do it. So watch this honesty and directness. Now, directness and honesty is good because he's preventing his Pat possibly, or at least he's trying to protect his friend Pat from getting killed. And Pat's men, because Pat offers his men. He has men with him. John Chance says, hey, they'll be thinking about their wives, and they'll just get killed by professionals. Burdett's got 30, 40 professionals with him. Professional guns who know what they're doing and are skilled at guns. John Chance knows that he doesn't want just a bunch of guys thinking about their wives who don't know how to use a gun to take on 30 or 40 guys who know how to use a gun. He calls it more targets. A lot of people to get hurt. So he has courage. Watch this courage to face it with whatever he's got at hand. And by the way, when you go for your goals and dreams, you've got to go with what you have at hand. You can't wait for additional resources and help. So there's another lesson there for you men. And he says that Joe Burdett, which is the brother that he's put in jail, isn't worth other men dying for, right? Their value in life is worth more than this killer, Joe Burdett. By the way, backstory, here's another good example of a friendship. You want to admonish your friends when you believe they're going to go off a cliff or take a bad turn, right? And John T. Chance, the backstory is he did this. What caused dude to get in his trouble and become drunk? Well, it was a woman that John T. Chance warned him about. She said he wasn't the right woman. And he stood up to him, even though it may have hurt the friendship. In other words, it made dude very angry at him. In fact, it says in the story, dude almost killed him for saying that. So dude was in love with this girl. He didn't want to hear it, but John T. Chance had the courage to tell his friend that. So it's also the courage to speak the truth in whatever scenario. You may have to say things that people don't want to hear, especially your friends, if you want to protect them. Now, you want friends also who can speak the truth to you. John T. Chance did that. That's a good friend. So what else? What else? What kind of a man is Chance? Yeah, well, he seems to be liked. He seems to be fair. He is fair. He speaks his mind. You know where you stand with him. He's the kind of man that will make you better with the truth and tell you what you need to hear because he notices things and he knows and understands the person he's talking to. It's not a blanket approach for all. He adjusts it. The hotel owner likes him a lot. Pat, of course, has been coming for 2 years. Sheriff's a friend of mine, he says earlier in the story. In fact, Pat also offered his good hired gun, the Colorado Kid, played by Ricky Nelson. But this is interesting too, interesting part of the story. Now, Pat offers the Colorado Kid to help John T. Chance. The Colorado Kid comes over and he says, no thanks, I'm not going to be involved. And John Wayne, this is a great moment, says, smart kid. Now, earlier, here's something else about the Colorado Kid, which is rare with men today, and another good learning lesson. Colorado Kid, when he comes into town with Pat and all the cattle ranchers and the wagons, tells John Wayne that he will tell him before he causes trouble. So the question is, will he do that? Will he honor his word? Will he do what he says? Remember the recording, do what you say? Later, Colorado Kid catches a guy cheating at cards. Before he does anything, and he's a very good gun, he could have handled it himself. He does what he says. He goes to John Wayne and he says, Sheriff, I just wanted to tell you this guy's cheating, but I said I'd come to you first. Rare today, and I'm telling you, if you can just do what you say with other men, show up when you say you're going to show up, you'll be a man among men, because it's rare today. By the way, Howard Hawks, John Wayne. John T. Chance is turning down help through this film. He doesn't want to see other people hurt. He wants to do his job. He believes it's his job. He's a man with purpose and mission, and he wants to fulfill his purpose. Howard Hawks didn't like the way the sheriff performed, or the marshal, in High Noon. Howard Hawks thought it was a communist film. John Wayne didn't like the way the sheriff went around begging for help, because John Wayne said this was the sheriff's job to protect the people. So John Wayne and Howard Hawks didn't like High Noon, so they made this film as a response of a man doing his job. And Rio Bravo, of course, became the classic Western, maybe the greatest of all time. I mean, it's incredible, magnificent film, one of my favorite films of all time, because it has camaraderie, manliness, it's got all these friendship, it's got all these great values and virtues that a director like Howard Hawks knew how to bring out, and John Wayne knew how to bring out. No, so one of the bad guys then later in the story, and we're not doing the whole story, we're mainly focused on the manhood, but flees into a saloon at one point. And here's another moment where John T. Chance helps his friend Dude. So they got this guy cornered. He flees into a saloon. Chance says, you figure we're going in there after him. Dude says, aren't we, Chance? Chance says, we used to. Now they're going into a bar full of Burdett people, so this would be risky, right? but they have the courage to go in. They're willing to risk their lives for justice and to protect the town. They have the courage to walk the streets. They have the courage to go in here. And here's something else. Chance says, okay, I'll go in the front. But dude is trying to come back, right? And he wants to go in the front. He says, I've been going through the back door. I'd like to go in the front, Chance. Now here's a friend. John T. Chance gives him the chance to not only go in the bar, front. And there's a lot. Before he gives him the chance, Chance asks him, do you think you're good enough? Now, here's a man. Dude says, and men want to find out, right? Men want to know. We want to find out. It's a great manly scene. This is just great for you men. I would like to find out. So dude wants to find out. What does that mean in that line? Men want to know if we're good enough, if we still have the skills. Always be building skills as a man, by the way. Chance lets dude go in the front. What's he doing there? Helping him become the man he was by doing and being the man he was, right? He's giving him the ability to be that man again. That's a great friend. That's a great leader. Letting him come back, working with him through the whole story, thinking about someone else, not himself. See, John T. Chance thinks about others and developing them. Leaders develop men. But it's not just a leader. He's a friend. Friends develop their friends. John T. Chance is developing his friend, helping the man come back from oblivion. Again, men think this is fantastic and outstanding. He's allowing him to become the man he was. That's the kind of man you want to be around, right? He wants dude to be better. To do what? To reach his potential in life again. To have purpose again, and he's guiding him to it. This is why you want to watch concrete examples of men who do this, so you can do it for other men, so you can help develop other men, so you can pick them up when they need to be picked up, so you can guide them, and so you can be guided and reinforced in your values and virtues. Now, that's a great part of true friendship, if you can help each other. And that point is a great point about friendship. Men want to be good at something. Dude wants to be good at something, right? Men want to be great at something, right? We do. Now, there's a line in where the Chance, Colorado kid's not getting involved, and Chance said, I would say he's so good that he doesn't have to prove it. So Chance, there's a line about the Colorado kid not getting involved, and Chance says, I would say he's so good he doesn't have to prove it. That's interesting, right? Right before that, Stumpy. Now, Stumpy, who is Stumpy? He's played by the great character actor, Walter Brennan, who looks like he belongs in the Old West. And he's a phenomenal actor. We have a point about Howard Hawks. If you look at a Howard Hawks or John Ford film, the people look like they belong in the Old West. They were great at casting character actors and people that convinced you they could be there. Very different than today's films in many of the cases, right? Howard Hawks and John Ford knew how to cast. Okay. Walter Brennan's here. He's a master actor. He plays a guy named Stumpy. Stumpy's a guy who's been sitting in the jailhouse with a shotgun. He's a deputy for John T. Chance. He brings a lot to the story. They have a friendship. The three of them end up having camaraderie. You got a lot of camaraderie in this film, and men need camaraderie. Another reason for this film is you need to see camaraderie in real life. So anyway, right before that, Stumpy, another deputy, says it. He's an older man, been around a long time. He's crippled. He can barely walk, but he's in the jail. By the way, he's on purpose too. At his age and with a bad leg, Stumpy is a man among men. He's still doing his purpose. He still wants to see justice. He's another great character, and he's still willing to risk his life with a very bad leg, and he can barely move. He's willing to give up his life for justice. He's willing to give up his life for John T. Chance. Now, after the line, so they said he doesn't have to prove it. Stumpy says most kids want to show it. Colorado kid doesn't believe he needs to show it. That's the difference, right? Doesn't need to prove he's good with a gun. So you want to stand for a reason. You don't want to just be proving things. Here's the point I'm making. Colorado kid didn't believe you have to prove it for no reason. You want to do things for a reason, for a purpose. You don't want to just be out there fighting or whatever for no purpose. So Burdett has a lot of guns. And remember, this is about justice, right? John T. Chance is the sheriff. Burdett is the kind of guy you can make a deal with. John T. Chance didn't have to do this, but he believes in justice. He's going to do his job, no matter what it cost him. If it didn't cost him his life, because he believes in justice. He took a job and he's going to do it. This is the justice part. And you want justice in a society. And you want men who apply justice in a society, not injustices. Equal protection of the law would be what? That he doesn't favor him because his brother has an exalted position and is a big shot. Because in a society, you don't want people in powerful positions being treated differently than people in low positions. That would be equal protection of the law. You want people in very high, powerful positions, no matter what that is, or where they're at, whether in government, whether not in government, treated the same as the people that don't have as much influence, clout, or position or title. Equal protection of the law. John T. Chance applies equal protection of the law. And this is an important point. You've seen it go awry a little bit in society in the last few years, especially, right? But before that, but especially you saw it. Concrete examples, right? We talk about concrete examples. You got to see it. What if we'd had all men like John T. Chance in all those areas where you saw the problems and did today? You'd have equal protection of the law. You'd have arrests being made. So Chance can't be bought. He can't be scared off. He's fair. He's not playing favorites, applying equal protection. Justice is a virtue, right? Aristotle talked about it. And we need men with justice who guide the Constitution. Now, you have the cattle rancher back then, but it could be men in different places today. Some powerful people believe that they're above the law. The Burdetts believed they were above the law, right? They believed they could do whatever they wanted with the sheriff, with the town. And they believed that the laws didn't apply to Joe Burdett. He shot an unarmed man, but they're going to get him out. John T. Chance is standing in their way. So what do they want to do? If someone's standing in the way of something somebody wants, Nathan Burdett just decides they'll eliminate them. That's why you men must be strong, alert, and aware. Pass on knowledge. You got to share information and knowledge today. It's a nation of laws and men. You need both. So men like John T. Chance can't be bought, but you need lawyers, you need judges, you need people in position who can't be bought. Men who have the virtues and values of John T. Chance, or the republic won't work. Now, there's a great song in the movie. Nathan Burdett sends a message to them in the jail, and they're stuck kind of in the jail waiting for the marshal. And he asked them to play this song over and over, Degüello. And they're standing outside, and Chance and Dude are standing outside the jailhouse, and the Colorado Kid comes up as the song is playing. And Chance says, "What is that?" And he says, "It's called Degüello. They played it day and night till all those guys in Texas at the Alamo died," right? So Chance gets it, and he says, "No mercy, no quarter," right? So they're facing death with courage. Now, some other magnificent moments in this film on male friendship. There's a magnificent moment where Dude, who has been borrowing the gun of Stumpy, and he wants to file it down so it'll be faster, because he's a great gunfighter. He's good with guns. Stumpy doesn't want it to go off so fast, right? Because he's not as good. So he says he wants to file it down. Stumpy says, "Why don't you give him his own?" Now, this is a great moment for friendship. John Wayne goes to the cabinet and pulls out the guns. And it's two guns, black holster. Looks very nice. And he pulls it out. Dude looks at the guns, and it means something to him. And he says, "Where'd you get those?" Chance says, "Bought them off the fella you sold them to," right? So That's a great moment. So dude was so drunk that he sold his guns. That's very valuable to a deputy, to a gunfighter, right? To someone who's good with guns, your guns are everything, right? That's his job. That's how he makes his living. Chance, as the sheriff, went out and bought the guns for him from the guy he sold them to. So he had to be aware, he had to be looking out for his friend, and he had to capture those guns right after they were sold before the other guy sold them or left town or did something with them, right? Now that's a friend. Do you have friends like that? Are you a friend like that? Would you do that for a friend? You want friends like John T. Chance, I'm telling you. This guy is a great friend. At this time, I'd like to invite you to subscribe so that you can help us build better, stronger men.